I can't believe you're making me do this. It's the day of the Disneyland draft.
We drafted our favorite rides, snacks, and entertainment. We're going to do all of them today in Disneyland.
And mine's up first, so let's get to it.
In case you missed it, we had a live stream where we drafted our favorite things in Disneyland, 5 each. So today we are going to be trying to complete the entire list of 15 things at Disneyland, ranging from A+ attractions to favorite snacks to a couple of unusual choices. We've got a long day ahead of us. Let's get to it.
There were so many options throughout all of Disneyland for our draft that we ended up coupling a couple of lands together, and we excluded Galaxy's Edge specifically because it exists on both coasts. Up first, though, is my selection, and that is a breakfast chimichanga that can be found here in Frontierland. The breakfast chimichanga is only served for a certain period of time, so it's always best to arrive early to see if you can get it. Now, the chimichangas that are served throughout the day are incredible. In fact, probably one of my favorite quick service bites to find in Disneyland. But the breakfast chimichanga, chef's kiss. Well, unfortunately, we were unable to get the breakfast chimichanga. They are served until 11 a.m. or while supplies last. We are here before 11 a.m. We just missed the while supplies last bit. But, nevertheless, we will have the incredible standard chimichanga.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The standard chimichanga is just refried beans, beef, and then a red sauce, but it is so good. The exterior is so crisp.
As a pro chimi tip, you got to get the picante sauce they have at the chimi stands. It kicks it up even higher. Plus, bonus, this is the only cart that has lime Topo Chicos. So this is really the breakfast of champions.
Okay, so what do we think? Chimichangas for breakfast.
Great choice.
I'm a big approves.
I get physically upset when I eat chimichangas because they're cart food that's better than any quick service at Magic Kingdom. A delicious choice any time of day.
Yeah, lots of good eating options at Disneyland, but that is amongst my favorites personally. And if you can get the breakfast chimneys, check them out. But remember, while supplies last or before 11, and we did not beat the supplies last.
The supplies did not.
That is okay, because the chimichangas we had were incredible.
That's true. Also, another pro tip for chimichangas, if you want to get them on mobile order, you can get them in Fantasyland at Edelweiss Snacks over by the Matterhorn. So, another little chimmy tip for you.
Chimmy tip! Frontierland tells the tale of how the West was won, sharing stories of individuals like Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett, man who don't know fear.
Nice.
A fun fact about Max is that Max is from Tennessee. And in Tennessee, you're legally required to learn every word of that song in childhood.
Yeah, that's true. That's
That adds up, right?
A completely factual statement about
What was it, by
Tennessee.
7 or 8? What age?
Born on the mountain.
Look at that roasty toasty of David Crockett.
Pretty sure that's Daniel Boone.
Are they not the same?
No.
It's Boba Fett and Mando already. I want to tell you something. I would like to point out this tree. It is a petrified tree from Colorado. It would have been 7.5 feet wide and 200 feet tall. It is estimated to be up to 70 million years old. And for some reason, it's here in Disneyland. I don't know why, but it is cool that this tree is here. And it was presented to Miss Lillian Disney. So there you go.
Raised in the woods, so as he do every tree.
It was presented to Disneyland by Miss Lillian Disney, so I guess that's why it's here. But we're Disneyland fans.
Killed him a bear when he was only 3.
All right, moving on from Frontierland. Correction, staying in Frontierland because we are still doing my activities this morning. Next up is the canoes. More specifically, Davy Crockett's Explorer Canoes, which takes you on a bit of a manual trip around Tom Sawyer Island. I can't wait. I can only imagine. Jeez Louise! I hate you. I nearly dropped the camera. Nearly.
What are you guys talking about?
All right, anyway. Technically, Davy Crockett Explorer Canoes are a part of Critter Country. We combined Frontierland and Critter Country in our draft of Disneyland. And in Critter Country, you can find attractions like Splash Mountain, Max's favorite attraction with Winnie the Pooh. It's your favorite character, right?
Now listen, okay, I don't have as much of a grudge on Winnie the Pooh here in Disneyland because he can kick out Mr. Toad. But it should be noted that he's a bit of a real estate mogul. Everywhere he goes, he's kicking in characters out here. I mean, here in Disneyland, he kicked out Country Bear Jamboree, so maybe you're a fan of Wendell or Big Al, you should have a problem with Winnie the Pooh as well. Everywhere that yellow bear goes, he's kicking the evil out of the places that they call home. I mean, what are we even doing tolerating this kind of behavior? He is really just a capitalist that is taking over the lands and kicking people out of the places that they call home. Why are we tolerating this behavior?
So anyway,
Look, the backside of water! O2H! O2H! Hey, Joseph, wait. Joseph, this is a good one, right? All right, my family, let's have some fun. Here we go. Paddles up. One hand locked onto that fish. Faster this canoe will go. Stroke. And trust me, everybody, fast is what we all want. Especially anyone on this canoe with an expiring Lightning Lane Fast Pass for that new Star Wars ride. Guys, Justin Bieber! Having lunch with Tiger Woods. Those get worse the longer we're out here, guys. Might want to paddle a lap. That's what I do.
There are 3 kinds of paddlers on the Explorer canoe. There's me. There's Max. And there's Alan. Same amount of great right now.
all right. What do you think of the canoes?
You loved the canoes.
I did.
Love the canoes.
No matter how much I liked the canoes, it pales in comparison.
I enjoy the canoes.
Me too.
I love that.
I think
That was
that's
so
your
much
favorite
fun.
ride in Disneyland now.
That was so fun.
I do think the canoes are very cute. They're like a quaint Disneyland thing.
Yeah.
The skippers? Boatists? Canoeists?
Davy Crockett.
The cast
Davy
member, yes, the Davy Crockett cast member was very funny. They always make jokes and bits, and it's very fun in Disneyland.
Yeah, it's a little like play on a Jungle Cruise kind of vibe. If you are into that sort of comedy and those sort of jokes, you're going to get a little bit of that, but maybe a little bit more because less people are paying attention.
Also, it's like Jungle Cruise with manual labor.
True.
What Jungle Cruise is missing.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I know. That's what
I
you've
had a
all
great
wanted
time.
out of Jungle Cruise is manual labor.
I had a great time.
Well, our final attraction in the Frontierland Critter Country section was mine. It was going to be Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Unfortunately, it's down right now for technical difficulties. So we're going to move on to Fantasyland, and we'll be back hopefully when it comes back up. We've made it to my favorite land in Disneyland, Fantasyland. This is just the quaintest, sweetest, most nostalgic, quintessentially Disneyland land there is, with tons of attractions, more than Walt Disney World's Fantasyland. You've got those kind of throwback dark ride style attractions that just feel Disneyland to me. You have things like Snow White's Enchanted Wish, which is actually my first pick in Fantasyland. They redid Snow White's Scary Adventure and they added some touches of modern technology. I think it's a perfect update on a classic attraction like this. You've also got Pinocchio's Daring Journey, Dumbo, the Casey Jr. Train, the Storybook Canals, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, It's a Small World, Peter Pan's Flight, the Matterhorn. This is just magic and Disney and so wonderful and sweet. So this was actually the hardest land for me to pick from because I love so many attractions here, but ultimately I thought Snow White, the original Disney princess, the first full-length animated feature film, and this updated attraction was the perfect choice. Now, my real pro tip when it comes to Fantasyland is actually to rope drop Fantasyland. Most of these attractions do not take Genie Plus, so you're going to end up standing in 30, 40-minute lines, possibly longer, especially at Peter Pan's Flight and Alice in Wonderland, which are the most popular too. However, if you rope drop, you can usually knock out a bunch of these really quick. Then you can use your lightning lane for things like Haunted Mansion, especially this time of year, Space Mountain, Indiana Jones Adventure, etc. As a little pro Disneyland tip, if you have a lightning lane for an attraction that goes down, check where you can redeem it, because you can often redeem it at attractions that don't have lightning lane otherwise. So I'd actually booked us a Big Thunder Mountain Railroad lightning lane. When it went down, we're actually now able to redeem it at Snow White's Enchanted Wish, and I was able to rebook Big Thunder for another time. So just something to look out for. If you can turn that frown upside down and turn that sadness of an attraction being closed into a positive. Fun detail to look for, make sure you look up when you go into the Snow White's Enchanted Wish queue and you may see someone watching you. What twerk video do you think we'll get?
Sleepy.
Bashful.
Well, we were wrong.
So close.
Yeah.
What y'all think of my pick?
It's a great one. I mean, they've more recently done some updates to that dark ride that have just brought some good technology to it, sort of modernized it, but kept the real, like, iconic Disney feel. That's great.
It has the feel of a classic, like you said, and what a great way to represent that first ever animated feature.
This is quintessentially Disneyland to me. Of course, they had Snow White's Scary Adventure at Walt Disney World, but it's gone now, so I love riding this when I'm here. Puts me in all the feels, and that witch is so scary.
She's scary.
The transformation scene is nightmare fuel.
We have another ride in Fantasyland, I'm pretty sure.
What could it be? I'm back on my nonsense. I'm sure it should come as no surprise that the pick that I'm going to be taking us to here in Fantasyland is One Toad Hall for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Now, this is another opening day attraction. You've heard me talk about it many a time. It also got some exterior updates. Of course, all of Fantasyland did, but it is sort of unique in the dark ride space. See, when Disneyland opened, all of these dark rides in Fantasyland had a few complaints because they didn't actually feature the characters from these stories. You wouldn't see Snow White. Walt's idea was that you were those characters going through their story. But because of the complaints, updates were made. You now see Snow White in her ride. But in the case of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, you actually don't. This one, you really are taking on the role of being Mr. Toad on that wild ride, going through the story made famous from that anthology classic from the 40s. It's my favorite ride in the park, and I'm thrilled to take you on it. Another one of my favorite details in Fantasyland, if you look up, are these windmills at the top. They've got them all throughout. Peter Pan's Flight has them at Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I think it's just such a cute detail, and you'll see some fun characters up and about. This one's one of my favorites, though.
That's the last!
Toad's Wild Ride. It's probably the best ride in the park.
It is an experience.
Yeah.
It is a ride that you go to hell on.
True.
Which
is unique.
That's
iconic.
True.
It is warm. I applaud the continuity of the story for allowing us to see the judge as both his primary role, the judge, and also the devil.
Yeah.
I like that too. All jokes aside, I do love Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It's one of my favorites in Disneyland. I ride it every time I come here. It's just so ridiculous that you gotta ride it.
True.
Moving on.
We have transitioned out of Fantasyland and into Tomorrowland, which actually, for the purposes of our draft, we combined with Main Street USA. In terms of snacks and attractions, felt like a good mix, and to make sure everybody had something. So, Tomorrowland, of course, is that city of tomorrow where we tried to visualize what the future would look like. I'm not sure if in 1955 we got it totally right, but you know what? There are cars, and Autopia feels accurate. But for my pick, and the reason why we're coming over to Tomorrowland right now, I went with Space Mountain. Now, of course, Space Mountain is an iconic Disney roller coaster, an indoor roller coaster, and one of the 3 mountains of Disneyland. But it's also the one that was a Walt Disney World original. Originally opening on the East Coast, one of the few attractions that has that distinction. Space was then created at Disneyland, but it is a bit different. There wasn't as much real estate in California, in Disneyland, to create Space Mountain, and so they had to make some adjustments. They didn't have the size, the space to make 2 distinct tracks like there are in Florida, but they wanted the same throughput, the same efficiency, and the same amount of guests to be able to go through. So instead of having 2 different tracks that run at the same time, they just put a car that could carry twice as many people. Instead of sitting single file and one in front of the other on this Space Mountain, you'll sit 2 by 2, thereby allowing for the same amount of humans to ride each ride. Now, one sort of interesting note, if you are a bi-coastal Disney goer, is that Space Mountain in Disneyland actually has a slightly shorter height requirement. So in Walt Disney World, it requires a 44-inch height requirement, but in Disneyland, it's only 40. So if your kids aren't quite able to ride Space Mountain in Walt Disney World, maybe they can at Disneyland. Different experience.
It's good.
You
This
know,
is very good.
I'm not gonna lie, the last time I rode it here, I didn't think I liked it as much, but I had a great time. The soundtrack is so good here.
Yeah, the onboard audio is a big change. We have the same onboard audio here as Disneyland Paris, whereas in Walt Disney World, it's actually on the tracks. It's not on the vehicle themselves, so you get really immersive audio in Disney.
It kind of sounds like Mission Impossible in space. Like it's very like action movie sounding.
Yeah.
There's some really cool projections at one point, like through a tunnel that are different than Disney World. I'm still biased to the Disney World one because it's nostalgic for me, but this one's infinitely smoother and feels more upgraded.
Definitely true.
The biggest takeaway that I can have from this one is it feels smooth, which is I'm not getting shaken, rattled, and rolled.
You get that at Matterhorn. All right, so I've done 2 picks in a row. We've got a little bit of time till our mobile order is ready. What should we do?
I happen to notice that under the show times of a particular show, there's one in 15 minutes.
What show?
Tale of the Lion King.
Yeah, a little BTS for you all. This has not been on any list of any video we've made while we were in California, but Molly has not stopped talking about it, so it seems like it's gonna make the list.
I just love the Lion King and the Lion King music. I've never seen this show. I don't think any of us have seen this show. So what's more magical than a first-time show viewing together here at Disneyland?
I'm in. It's in the same theater as Mickey and the Magical Map used to be, and I loved that show, so I'm down. Let's go check it out.
When brother of Mufasa,
Scuff! You will never have the throne, brother. And respect all the creatures. He prepared the Turkish sky.
ready wing, and to never return. My name is Timon. And I'm Pumbaa. What's your name? Your name is Timon.
Well, what were your thoughts?
I loved it. I'm feeling very good about this popcorn. It's Bearberry spiced popcorn, which you can get at the little stand right here, the Troubadour Tavern. Bearberry is a spice mixture often used in Ethiopian cooking, so you can taste a little bit of curry, pepper, garlic, coriander, just a little subtle hint, something different. They also have some other unique snacks right here, like baked potatoes and some other things that have some African spices, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think the show is great. It's a lot of singing of Lion King songs, which of course are iconic, classic, amazing. My favorite bit was actually they made I Can't Wait to Be a King, a duet between Simba and Scar, which I thought brought kind of a fun new interpretation to that song.
Yeah, they mashed it up with Be Prepared, and it was kind of like a West Side Story vibe between the hyenas and the lions. So it was awesome.
Nice little remix there for us.
That's right.
If you are expecting Festival of the Lion King at Animal Kingdom, it doesn't have the acrobatics and the different stunts and things like that.
Fire dancing.
Exactly. So different show, same music. But my favorite part is the fact that they used some of the beautiful score of The Lion King, some of that African choir singing that's so beautiful in the show. Also, the woman who played Rafiki, amazing.
True.
She was awesome. I would say it's a great show to see in your Disneyland day. I'm glad we had time for it. More food now, I think.
Yep. Next up on the docket is Jolly Holiday Bakery Cafe, where you can pop into the world of Mary Poppins and experience some delightful eats and treats, most specifically some hearty sandwiches, items from a bakery case. But for us, it has everything to do with the grilled cheese and tomato soup. And maybe some new cold brews, because I see that they have that on the menu as well. And I'm in need of coffee. The Jolly Holiday is an incredibly popular quick service restaurant that tends to fill up rather quickly. So I recommend go ahead and getting a mobile order and filling one of those time slots. In fact, we had to wait a couple of hours for our window to even come available. So make sure to utilize those extra tips. Use the mobile order feature so you can get that tasty, delicious grilled cheese and tomato soup. And for some additional spots of theming, you'll see a delightful penguin atop the Jolly Holiday Bakery Cafe sign and a wonderful Mary Poppins weather vane. Before us, we have the delightful grilled cheese and tomato soup combo all the way around, and in that little package is a special treat, the Matterhorn macaroon. Macaron.
Macaroon.
Macaroon.
Macaron is the French cookie. Macaroon is the coconut tree.
Got it. Matterhorn macaroon. We also picked up the Chimney Sweet Cold Brew, which is cold brew coffee with hickory smoked syrup, chocolate and caramel sauce, cream, and a smoked salt sugar sprinkle. So a little bit of sweet and smoky. Now we dip. Well, hold on please, technical difficulties. We're back. The dip. Cheers. Perfectly buttery toasted bread. I think 2 to 3 different types of cheeses. Cheddar. This would be like some Swiss at least. And that tomato soup is rich.
Cheers. Oh, okay. I was a little worried when it said chocolate because that to me is really, really sweet. Probably know I'm not a big fan of sweet coffees, but the smokiness is really nice. That adds a new element for me. It also isn't very sweet. It still definitely tastes like coffee. One thing I love about Disneyland, I talked about this in the holiday video too, is that they do seasonal flavored cold brews, mix it up a little bit, but you can also get just classic cold brew, classic coffees, lattes, and things here as well at Jolly Holiday. This one's pretty good. Definitely unique. The ragtime piano player is playing right now outside of Refreshment Corner. It's just a lovely time to be on Main Street. Okay, Matterhorn macaroon time. This is a famous, iconic treat. It is a coconut macaroon, and it looks like the Matterhorn, of course, which we're going to be riding later, which both Alan and Max are really excited about. I love macaroons. They're coconutty, flaky, moist, and delicious. They are definitely sweet when you bite into the snow, which is actually just white chocolate. A little less sweet if you don't do that. They've got nice crispy edges. I think this is really fun, simple, classic dessert. It's definitely a Disneyland thing, so I always like to get one when I come here.
All right, so how do we feel about the Jolly Holiday Bakery Cafe?
Strong. Strongly in favor.
That grilled cheese is so good. It's a great, like, amount of snack, I think, is what I'm trying to say. Like, that's a good, like, mini meal, I would say.
Well portioned, high quality. Toasting both sides of the bread lets me know you know what's up. And the tomato soup, not too acidic, not too sweet, just very, very good.
I like Jolly Holiday for the vibes. I like the Mary Poppins theming. I don't think we get enough Mary Poppins in the parks. I like the Matterhorn macaroon because that's a staple. And I like just sitting out here in the beautiful California weather on Main Street, USA.
Well, what's next?
You're up.
That is correct. We are on to the fourth of my draft picks when we're going to go on the Disneyland Railroad. Many people say that Walt originally opened Disneyland with the goal to have a railroad of his own. It was originally called the Santa Fe and Disneyland Railroad and operates with 4 convenience stations located throughout the park. They are Main Street, USA, New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, which is currently closed with Toontown under refurbishment, and Tomorrowland. There are actually 5 restored 5/8 scale locomotives that are on this railroad. They are the C.K. Holiday, the E.P. Ripley, the Ernest Marsh, the Fred Gurley, and the Ward Kimball. And I wonder who we're going to get. My draft pick was specifically to ride all the way around the Disneyland Railroad, meaning we start at Main Street Station, ride all the way around the park, and end back at Main Street Station, which is about an 18-minute ride. Currently, the locomotive is not here at the Main Street Station, but they typically arrive between every 5 and 10 minutes to pick up a new batch of guests and take you on your tour. And on the interior of the train station, you actually see the Lily Bell, which was utilized at Walt's Carroll Pacific Railroad, which was the railroad that he had in his backyard. And I'm having a moment because this was something that Walt once was able to pilot and take his friends and family on. And now I've zoomed in closer and think this is a replica. So I'm still feeling my feelings, but not as strongly.
A fun detail along the train tracks here in New Orleans Square, you'll see there is a telegraph office right here, and if you listen really closely, it's probably hard to hear on camera, you can actually hear someone typing out a telegraph. And if you were to translate that Morse code, it would actually say,
"To all who come to this happy place, welcome,"
which is Walt Disney's dedication to Disneyland.
Much like the locomotives in Walt Disney World, the Disneyland Railroad is a steam-operated locomotive, which means it runs via creating steam from water. So at the New Orleans Square and Frontierland station, you actually have a filling station, which allows the train itself and the locomotive to be refilled with water so that it might be powered to continue on its trip around Disneyland.
And Tomorrowland. We'll also visit the Grand Canyon and make a trip back in time.
Train.
Gotta ride the train in Disneyland.
A full circle ride. Now, if I was going to give you a pro tip, ride the train, but I'd ride it specifically from Tomorrowland to Main Street. It's where you're going to see the dioramas, the dinosaur, the Grand Canyon. You don't need to do the full loop, but of course, in the draft, Main Street to Main Street.
Main Street to Main Street. The only way to do it in my mind. But I tend to agree. If you're looking for the best experience, go see the Grand Canyon.
Those dinosaurs were actually originally at the 1964-65 New York's World's Fair. They were part of the Ford Magic Skyway, which ended up being the predecessor to the People Mover and the Omni Mover system that we know and love today. So a little Disney history on there as well.
All right, where are we headed?
New Orleans Square.
My final draft pick is Haunted Mansion. Located here in New Orleans Square in Disneyland, it's modeled after plantation-style home, and normally you'd find 999 happy haunts waiting to greet you on your tour as you take your doom buggy throughout the mansion. But now, since we are here in the holiday season, it is Haunted Mansion Holiday, where the Nightmare Before Christmas characters, Jack, Sally, Oogie Boogie, Lock, Shock, and Barrel, have taken over Haunted Mansion, and this is an entirely new experience. It is incredibly unique to Disneyland. It happens here. It does not happen in Walt Disney World, and I'm very excited. And maybe it'll help us settle the age-old debate of if Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie. I, for one, think it's a Halloween movie. Along with some changes to the interior portions of the attraction, the entire exterior has been decked out and covered with pumpkins and skeletons, all from the Nightmare Before Christmas. From time to time, you might even get to see Jack and Sally. Haunted Mansion Holiday is an excellent attraction to use a lightning lane on because the queue can get rather full and it stays busy throughout the day. So I recommend utilizing one of those lightning lanes if you're able to get it.
Look.
What?
Do you see it?
What? Oh, Holly Jolly Molly, but it's crossed out.
Does that mean I don't get a present? Does that mean I've been bad?
You know, to be honest, I don't necessarily know if you'd want a present from Jack and Sally in this instance.
That's probably true.
Especially when you have good cheer plus chestnuts over open fire. It's a lot.
Plus mistletoe divided by sleigh bells? Oof.
Yeah.
This year, he's decided to play Sandy Claus. But when Halloween creates Christmas,
on the 13th day of Christmas, my good love.
When it comes to a match, holiday.
Are you singing the movie?
You know, I'm making up like a version of Jackson Man.
I've never seen that movie in its entirety.
I love it. It's a good movie.
I fall asleep during that song.
Lots of teenage angst and me in that movie really coming
You
together.
and Tim Burton.
Yeah,
like,
you're
really
not wrong.
bonded. I get it.
I was 14 and emo.
Maybe, you know what, this has inspired me. I will watch the movie. Hopefully I won't fall asleep.
I hope not too.
So what do we think of the attraction?
Obviously it's awesome.
It's amazing.
It's the best, I think. Haunted Mansion is a fan favorite in general, and this overlay just makes it ultimate. Yeah.
It's incredible, even as someone who's, as I just said, not a fan of the film. Love the music though. It is so incredible to see a classic attraction I've ridden 100 times completely done a different way. There's so much detail. There's new things to look for every time you ride it. The gingerbread house is awesome this year. Haunted Mansion's a must-do at Disneyland, but Haunted Mansion Holiday is like a put it at the top of your list must-do.
Well, those are all the draft picks for me.
You did good.
You're done.
Done.
Which one was your favorite of your picks?
The canoes.
I can't believe that. Canoe?
All right, well, see you soon.
We're going to stick around New Orleans Square for a little bit because I'm up next and we are headed to my favorite attraction in Disneyland, quite possibly my favorite attraction in the entire world, Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, my fellow Disney Worlders might be surprised to see that we're still in New Orleans Square. We're not going to Adventureland. But yes, there is no Liberty Square here, which is why Haunted Mansion is part of New Orleans Square, and Pirates of the Caribbean fits in right here as well. Pirates of the Caribbean takes place in this beautiful, ornate kind of pastel building that fits in very well with the rest of New Orleans Square. It really does feel like you are down on the bayou in this area. And speaking of the bayou, there are a lot of differences between Pirates of the Caribbean here in Disneyland and Pirates of the Caribbean in the Magic Kingdom. For starters, there is a bayou scene. You are actually going to start in New Orleans, down the bayou, see some folks on rocking chairs. Then you will take your time machine down a waterfall and into the golden age of the pirates. Pirates of the Caribbean is much longer here in Disneyland as well. There's a whole big cave scene that's got some very cool pirate effects. There is a duel scene at the end of the attraction. And then again, there is that bayou scene. So those are several reasons why this is my favorite attraction. And this is certainly the better version of this quintessential Disney classic. Avast, mateys. It's about time to ride Pirates of the Caribbean with... Is David Jones here? I can't remember, but I like doing the accent, and they're very impressed with my David Jones accent. Arg, mateys, one thing to look for on this version of Pirates of the Caribbean as you set sail. Avast, it's a real human skull on a headboard, marg, mateys.
What is happening? What is happening?
Vast mid-sentence. That typically leads the sentence.
Am I doing pirate speak wrong?
She says, one thing avast to look out for. Avast is a human skull. Avast.
It's just a comment.
Yes.
Everyone knows that Avast is just the pirate's comma.
One thing you be looking for, Avast. To be looking for a human Avast.
Look on ye treasure map when ye be plundering Avast and look for a real human skull Avast. Avast, mateys! Did you enjoy your trip to Pirates of the Caribbean?
Wow. As always, yes, is the answer.
The superior Pirates of the Caribbean, however you'd like to say it, is here. Caribbean.
It's Caribbean.
It's here.
Caribbean. Caribbean?
Right. If you've only ever ridden the Magic Kingdom version, know that this one is much longer. There are many scenes that are not in the Walt Disney World version of this attraction. This is the real, true version of this ride.
And it's especially fun because we are, of course, in Disneyland. We are in the park that Walt Disney himself built, and this is one of the last attractions that he personally had a hand in and saw being made. So that's kind of special as Disney nerds as well.
All right, you two. What's up next?
A snack.
A snack.
Avast!
Now, no trip to New Orleans Square would be complete with a very important snack. Of course, we are going to be partaking in a beignet, or as we like to affectionately call them, a beignets. Beignets are a New Orleans Square classic. Of course, you gotta shake the bag, get that powder all over them, and chow down. One of my favorite snacks in all of Disneyland, and definitely the most important snack for me to partake in New Orleans Square. This will round out our New Orleans Square visit and is one of my picks of the draft. Now, to find the beignets in Disneyland, you're going to go into New Orleans Square to the Mint Julep Bar, which does also have a mint julep, another classic of the land. This does offer mobile order if you want to mobile order your beignets, and sometimes they offer seasonal flavors. Like right now, they do have a maple beignet with a maple and bacon dipping sauce, which we tried in our holiday video. But for today, we're just doing the classic, the regular powdered sugar beignet, and I am super excited to partake. Most important thing, gotta give it a shake. Make sure you shake up your beignets to get the powder all over. That's important. All right, cheers.
You good, pal?
So soft and fluffy that powdered sugar just brings that perfect level of sweetness. It's the perfect snack.
I'm also enjoying a classic mint julep. Now, this is a non-alcoholic specialty. It's mint and lime, and it is fresh and delicious. It's definitely on the sweeter side, but the mint helps balance it out. I think it's really refreshing and perfect for when you're having your beignets, whereas I like to call them beignettes.
And what do we think about beignets?
I mean, do we need to ask?
Beignet.
Beignets.
I mean, they're probably the best snack in Disneyland.
They're very good.
Like, they're quintessentially Disneyland, sitting there with a mint julep. Doesn't get much better than that.
We got it in the evening. I personally recommend getting it as a breakfast treat. That is usually, if I'm going to get one, I'm going to get it in the morning on my day of Disneyland. But I mean, listen, there's no bad time to eat a beignet.
And as a pro tip, the mobile order does fill up quick, so once you kind of know around what time you'd like to eat your beignets, go ahead and put in that mobile order at Mint Julep Bar.
Sure.
All right, what's next?
My ride. We are moving on from New Orleans Square to the next land over, Adventureland. Now, we do have a few. This is actually our first time jumping into Adventureland today, and so, of course, Adventureland brings us the jungles of adventure. Attractions like Jungle Cruise and the Enchanted Tiki Room, and, of course, our next attraction and the next thing we are going to be doing for the day, Indiana Jones Adventure Temple of the Forbidden Eye. This is a thrill attraction similar to the dinosaur ride system, but taking you into the world of Indiana Jones as you explore a temple and face the dangers therein. It does have a 46-inch height requirement, so the littlest ones might not be able to ride, but it is an awesome thrill-seeking adventure where you board a Jeep together as a family, sitting about 4 in a row, and go through a spooky temple with
snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Jones Temple of the Forbidden Eye.
Wow. It's like we're back there again.
That's how excited I am about it.
I do feel like I'm in the attraction.
Right now?
Yeah.
Avast, mateys. It's a very fun attraction.
Yeah.
Now, Indiana Jones is another one of my favorites every time I go to Disneyland. It is uniquely Disneyland. The minute that soundtrack hits, it's just a really fun attraction. Something a little different.
Far superior dinosaur.
Yeah, I was literally about to ask, Indiana Jones or dinosaur?
Oh, Same wavelength. Indiana Jones.
I'm the same. I think that Molly's going to disagree.
I refuse to answer this question.
Well, it feels like a cop-out, but okay.
I can't choose between Dr. Indiana Jones and Dr. Grant Seeker. I love them both.
You heard it here first.
It's time for another feeding. This time it's my pick right here in Adventureland across from the Indiana Jones Adventure. This is Bangle BBQ. This is just a quick service stand that serves one thing and one thing only, meat sticks. They serve a variety of different meat skewers and they are absolutely fabulous. Now, I'm going to put a little asterisk on that because there is a vegetable skewer if you're interested. But you can see they've got the grill going right here. These are made to order. They have a variety of beef, pork, chicken, bacon-wrapped asparagus. They are so simple and so delicious and a must-get every time I come to Disneyland. Here they are, our fabulous meat sticks. We got a couple different ones. This is the safari skewer. This is bacon-wrapped asparagus. It comes with a fresh lemon to squeeze on there. This one is the chieftain chicken skewer. Alan grabbed that one as well. Is it spicy? Or is it sweet and sour kind of?
Sweet and sour.
Sweet and sour chicken. And then all three of us couldn't resist, thank you, Vanna, the beautiful Beignets beef skewer. So this is the spicy beef skewer. Got extra sauce on there. I'm going to stop talking. Let's eat some meat. I am once again before you mad at Walt Disney World that this is from a quick stand, like walk-up cart, and it is so unbelievably good. It's just meat, but the spicy sauce is perfection. It's really tender. You can taste that grill on there. It is a perfect meal, and yes, it is just chunks of meat, but it's a little bit lighter, it feels like, than a lot of like really heavy battered or heavy carb related snacks and eats in a Disney theme park. I also always get the bacon wrapped asparagus, and the pro tip is to get extra of the sauce of your choosing. I like the spicy Beignets sauce. You just don't expect to eat bacon wrapped asparagus in a theme park fresh off the grill. It's got that fresh lemon on there. The sauce has a little bit of heat and spice. Legitimately, not all theme park food does. The bacon's nice and crispy on the edge. And then you've got that delicious fresh asparagus. A must eat every time I'm here in Disneyland for a really good snack or a meal. Absolutely fabulous.
As a little aside, I got the chieftain chicken skewer, which I had not done before. It's a break with tradition. It was very good. Traditional sort of curry spices that were mixed in what tasted like an apricot jam and then were slathered on the chicken. Incredibly good. Was not dry, which is rare for mass-produced chicken, especially on a grill. So it's hard to find fault here.
Along with the meat sticks, I've decided that we need to get medical advice from the doctor here. Now, this is a weird Disneyland thing. They have a few of these machines. This one here is Shrunken Ned, but they have a few of these machines that when you put a couple quarters in, they spit out something. There's a pirate that'll spit out a pirate map. There's a fortune teller, but we're gonna get medical advice from Shrunken Ned now.
First, a few questions. Are you plagued by visions of rubber snakes?
No.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Do you suffer from the delusion that you're in some kind of theme park, even though it's incredibly obvious you're in the African jungle?
Yes, my medical advice says, boil 1 eye of newt, sprinkle on a thick paste of yak fur.
What?
Spread on saltine crackers and take twice a day until you get better, or my yak runs out of fur.
I think once the yak runs out of fur, that is the time to stop.
I should probably acquire a yak. How did we feel about meat sticks plus a visit with Shrunken Ned?
Now, you said when we ate beignets that you think it's the best snack in Disneyland, and I'm not really here to disagree with you, but I think that's the best savory snack.
Okay, I would agree. The best savory is definitely the meat sticks. The best sweet has got to be beignets.
Specifically the spicy beef. That sauce is unbelievable.
You can put it on almost anything and it would improve it.
Yeah.
If you're like me and us, really, I like to snack my way through Disneyland as opposed to sitting and having a meal. And those are a really hearty, delicious, unique Disneyland thing. Plus, I love the weird, fortune teller, give you a little card thing, 50 cents. It's just so quaint and nostalgic. And I had not gotten one from Shrunken Ned before, so that was enjoyable.
Shrunken Ned.
Yeah, he might be my favorite. The pirate's a little mouthy.
Avast.
Avast. My charge is not over yet. However, we got to go to the neighboring land, Frontierland, because we're headed to the wildest ride in the wilderness. Tried to ride it long ago, but we are finally getting to enjoy Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This is one of my favorite rides in Walt Disney World, and I love the Disneyland version as well. It's mostly the same attraction. It's that runaway train roller coaster, perfect for a family adventure. It does have a 40-inch height requirement, but there are a few changes, a few differences between the Walt Disney World and the Disneyland versions. For starters, the legendary dynamite goat, the goat with the dynamite stick in its mouth, can be seen right here on the Disneyland version, and that final explosive scene with the dynamite actually has some animation. It has some fun effects that are not in the Magic Kingdom version. And last but not least, fun Easter egg. Make sure to look when you're rounding out your trip on the wildest ride in the wilderness. There is a secret Easter egg of one of the main Imagineers for this and many other beloved attractions. He's a proprietor, and it is Tony Baxter.
It's great. It's great on both coasts. Although the effects here are very good.
Yeah, I love the addition of the dynamite. The goat with the dynamite is amazing, big character. And then I like ending in like a full and complete town, not the flooded town in Magic Kingdom and Disney World.
It may just because I'm not used to this one, but it felt faster. Or maybe because I had my leggings, I was like slipping and sliding wildly in the back row, and it was so fun.
Yeah, Alan only slid into me and crushed me one time.
The entire rest of my grip super tight.
No, being alone, I was like rocketing across the sea, and it was a delight. It's so fun. I feel like a kid every time I ride that one. A must-do for me in both.
We are nearing the end of our list, but there are two things left. And my final entry to our Disneyland draft is a snack, but in a specific Disneyland way. One of my favorite snacks at Disney is the Dole Whip. I, of course, love a pineapple. I'm kind of a classic flavor guy personally. But something specific to Disneyland is that if you go to the Tiki Juice Bar at the entrance to Adventureland, you can actually get your pineapple Dole Whip and eat it while enjoying the Enchanted Tiki Room. Now, there are a couple of different places you can get Dole Whip in Disneyland. There's also the Tropical Hideaway, which is where you'll have to go if you want to get other flavors. They rotate seasonally. Right now, they have pineapple, mango, cherry, and lime. But if you go to the bridge, where you'll find the Tiki Juice Bar, you'll only be able to get pineapple, but you can have that added kind of Disneyland flavor by getting to enjoy your Dole Whip at the Enchanted Tiki Room, which is what we will be doing tonight. In the Tiki Room.
That was lovely. Enchanted Tiki Room is a major milestone in Disney company history. This is the first attraction that ever had audio animatronics. So to be in the original Tiki Room, the one Walt Disney made, the original Imagineers, the original birds, very, very fun.
Yeah, and I know Dole Whips, I mean, they're available on all coasts, very popular, but there is something very uniquely Disneyland about being able to take that into the Tiki Room and have that experience. So, for me, that it's a nice little like special Disney thing.
I don't know about you both, but I find myself looking up at the birds while they were singing and seeing them breathe, and remembering that conversation that Walt had with the Imagineers, and it's just so cool to think that that's what really started all of it. It's just so neat.
I think part of being at Disneyland is sort of celebrating where all this came from in the history, and there are very few places as good for that as this. So, may not be a must-do for everybody, but if you like a little bit of Disney history, this is a must-do for you.
Can I just say, I really like it when Fritz goes, "Let's all sing like the birdies sing."
Is he Pain? From Hercules?
That was a good
Tweet, 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 tweet.
Remember all the boys' name?
Remember when all the girls were Brittany and all the boys were Jason?
Yeah.
I thought they were kind of dashing. Come in your most scrupulousness. We're back in Fantasyland for our next attraction, and it's my pick, and here's a hint where we're headed. Look at that Yeti Roasty Toasty. Now, Roasty Toasties are a weird Disneyland thing. They're at certain popcorn carts, and they're just these little guys that spin the popcorn. They're very cute, and they're always themed to where they are. But yes, the Yeti means we are conquering the Matterhorn next. That's right, we are ending our adventure tonight at the Matterhorn bobsleds, a first of its kind steel roller coaster up the mountain. You're gonna come face to face with the Yeti, and all of us are equally excited about this attraction. Everybody is thrilled to ride this Disneyland quintessential classic. Guys? Hey, wait for me. I know you're excited, but wait for me.
You know, it's good that this is the last thing we're doing.
Why's that? Because we saved the best for last?
I probably won't be able to walk after we get over it.
What Alan and Max are being so dramatic about is that the Matterhorn is not the smoothest of coasters. She's definitely showing her age. She's been around since the 60s. And yeah, she's kind of like a free trip to the chiropractor. But you know what? Bob Gurr, legendary Imagineer, made this attraction. He, in fact, had to teach himself certain kinds of math to be able to make the coaster bobsleds go up and down the mountain. It's an incredible piece of Disney history. It's a first of its kind steel coaster. This attraction walks so Expedition Everest could run. It's a piece of Disney history, and I love it. Matterhorn bobsleds do have a 42-inch height requirement, so not the tallest, but not the shortest in this park. And if you are going to ride this attraction, I recommend timing it so that you can ride it at night, because it's extra special when you see Disneyland all lit up from the top of the mountain. Well, Matterhorn?
I mean, it definitely feels like the ride that they learned how to make roller coasters on.
Ow. I mean, I definitely have a bruise, but it is so fun. It is like, it's just so fun. You have to ride it. They're gonna say otherwise. Don't listen to them.
It felt like we left the track. I know we didn't, but it felt that way.
Everyone should ride it once. It is fast. It sits like Magic Kingdom Space Mountain, if you want to know what the ride vehicle's like. But it is rough around the edges, and it will shake you up. So if you're susceptible to not liking a bumpy roller coaster, like a wooden coaster, for instance, feels like that.
But it is a quintessential, nostalgic Disneyland icon.
True.
So, like Max said, you got to do it at least once. It makes me giggle hysterically every time. And again, if you can plan to do it at night, you get a really beautiful view of the park, which makes it that much better.
PSA for all my tall people out there, wear shin guards. Just take them from your kid's soccer bag and put those on.
Max, I forgot to ask you, which of your 5 things was your favorite?
Oh, a tough pick, I would say. My 5 were all really good, except obviously it's Mr. Toad.
I don't know why I thought you were actually mulling it over for a second.
Why even ask?
I don't know.
Hey, Malls.
Look how pretty Small World is.
It's very pretty. What was your favorite of your 5?
Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a classic Disney attraction. This is the OG. It's the better version of Pirates. It's my favorite ride in the park. Gotta be Pirates.
Well, that brings our Disneyland draft day to an end.
Yeah, lots of fun all across the park. Snacks, attractions. It was a good day.
Yeah, we had a pretty perfect day in Disneyland. A couple classics like Pirates of the Caribbean, a couple seasonal things like Haunted Mansion Holiday, great treats like beignets, and some kind of lesser-known underrated hits like the canoes.
The canoes were brilliant.
We know you love the canoes.
Genuinely a highlight of my day.
Trust me, we know.
We've been hearing about the canoes
all day.
They were great.
Hey, if you like this type of content and you want to watch how it actually happens on live, feel free to tune in to our Twitch streams, twitch.tv/MrDuckfist, to see how we plan these types of days. And then, of course, you can come and see what the YouTube looks like after.
Let us know if you'd like to see us do this in the other parks, maybe the Disney World parks, maybe Universal. I think our draft teams could look very different.
Yeah.
Also, let us know who you think drafted the best Disneyland team down in the comments.
In the meantime, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell, and follow us on all of our socials. It's at Mammoth Club or at Mammoth_Club, and we appreciate you.
And until next time, friends, I'm Molly.
I'm Max.
And I'm Alan.
And it's been so magical.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Y'all want to go watch Fant?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.